Litwi, what is going on? Nice to see you. I knew I would clickbait somebody with that title, to be honest. Oh, hold on a second. I need to fix this video in the background. That's not quite how I intended it to be. Just a second. Technical difficulties. Welcome in Hayes. Welcome in Capshaw and husband. Capshaw's husband. I will definitely say something about all the keyboards in a minute. Hold on a second. Let's see here. How do we want this? Like this, and like that, and then we're gonna do this to it. That is a 4-degree rotation. This is what happens when you just start streaming before you finish setting up your stream. All right, there we go. I don't know if that's the video we're going for. I'm not playing music today that sounds like a motorcycle ride, to be honest. All right, let me just switch this to the other one. This is probably more appropriate. All right. Yeah. Litwi. So, okay, this is a good opportunity. I'm not in a rush today, so I can explain some stuff about the setup to anybody who's interested. Let me take a little. There's a lot of reverb on my voice. Let me kick that back just a little bit. Check. A little reverb's good, but if I'm just talking, I don't need that much. Okay, so yeah, this is my new setup, Litwi. This is we purchased a house a little over a year ago and renovated, and I am setting up a studio in the basement here. So this is my new setup. Yeah, it's amazing having something like that. Here, let me get the hand cam set up, then we can take a look. Okay, so that's you guys right there. There's chat. Wait, the camera's upside down. There we go. That's better. That's you guys. That's the monitor I'm looking at. I got the looper down here in front of me. I've got this big mixer that I picked up. New Tascam Model 2400. Oh, don't worry, Don Darkzoni. I will show you a big pile of mistakes today, I'm quite sure. Yeah, the mixer is great. This is it's really great for what I'm doing because it lets me record onto the mixer directly on all 24 tracks if I want to. So I can record the individual parts even before they hit the looper and get effects and stuff like that, and I could go back and mix it later more productively or whatever without having to try to record all the tracks into Ableton or something like that, which my computer would also not do. It has a lot of other nice features. And so yeah, this is a Jaspers rack with all the keyboards. I got the E piano down at the bottom, got the Prophet in here. I don't know if you guys can hear me, I'm yelling. Got the TR-8S in here, got the Osmos. Recently picked up a KeyStep 37 that's controlling the Prophet and the Bass Station 2. And then I got this Nord drum pad up here. And all that's running into the mixer. And then from the mixer via different sub-outs into different inputs of the looper, depending on if I want to have effects running on what I'm recording on there or not. On the drum pad, I don't typically run effects on it because it gets too crazy. And then from the looper goes back into the mixer, also with a couple of different sub-outs so that I can route some different things. And the mixer is my audio interface as well. So that's the deal. Also have the guitar over here, of course. Yeah, I'm very happy with the Nord Drum 3. I tested out a couple at the store, and this one just had a couple sounds also pre-programmed some patches that I quite liked. So, and to be honest, I mean, like a lot of my gear, I haven't really dug into the different patch making capabilities of that of the drum pad so much because I'm too busy using it making music. So. Yeah, that's the new setup. We've been doing January jams again this year. using the new setup, and there's still a learning curve on a lot of it because all the routing is new and but it's a lot more powerful than my old setup, a lot more flexible, and I don't have to plug it all in and plug it out every single time that I want to play, because my other setup was in an office that was used for a lot of other things and stuff. So I'm super happy to have the setup. And all right, so let me turn the hand cam back off. And so Capshaw and Capshaw's husband, you guys still there? I'll say something about the keyboards, because Capshaw was asking me yesterday why I need so many different keyboards. And I said something about it then already, but I can explain it a bit more. I mean, first of all, you don't need anything, right? Like you can what's up, Cranberry Toast TV? Okay, that's confusing me. Okay, side account. All right, cool. Wonderful, Litwi. Yeah, so first of all, you don't, necessarily need all this stuff. I kind of said that yesterday when we talked about it, that a lot of people don't. So like, there's some different approaches when you start getting into like synthesizers and electronic music and stuff like that. And I would say most people these days tend to use what are called soft synths, which is basically just you have like one keyboard that basically just sends information to the computer, and the actual sounds are generated by a program in the computer. And so you can use just one keyboard to get like infinite different sounds, basically. And so a lot of people do that because it's a lot cheaper. In some ways, it's also easier. I mean, it takes up like a lot less space and stuff like that, to just have this one keyboard and all the stuff in the box, as they say. And there are various reasons why I and a lot of the other people that are like part of the Golden Shrimp Guild, which is a synthesizer group here on Twitch. If you're not familiar, check out. Yeah, Mr. X. Mr. X is a proponent of that in the box stuff. He just has one miniature keyboard and does everything on that. No, that's not. That's the opposite of true. So a lot of the people that are part of this group tend to have a lot of hardware synthesizers, or use a lot of hardware synthesizers, and that's like what you're seeing here. These are different hardware synthesizers. So they're, as opposed to the setup with the soft synths that I was just talking about, where you have one controller keyboard and all the sounds are generated by the computer. Here, each instrument is generating its own sounds for the most part. This little keyboard here in the middle is actually not. This is a controller like of the type that I was just talking about, but instead of having it hooked up to my computer and having the computer make the sounds, I have this hooked up to two of my other hardware synthesizers. So the sound is still being generated by the synthesizers themselves. So that's like one distinction, is whether you're doing hardware synths or soft synths. And of course, you could also do a mixture of them. And a lot of people, like I said, tend to do soft synths because it's definitely cheaper, it's extremely flexible, it's more portable, it has a lot of advantages for sure. A lot of us that tend to like hardware synths, there are different reasons for it, but like one big reason that I have is I don't like working on the computer. Like I've tried it. I've purchased multiple different controller keyboards throughout my life, and have always tried to get the setup to where I can just make music like that, and it's never worked for me. I've always failed doing that. And a big part of that, I think, is just like, first of all, there are too many different possibilities. Like when you start getting into these soft synths, you see like the list it just doesn't end. The list of different sounds and different effects and different parameters and stuff like that, it just keeps going and going and going and going. And a lot of people end up, and this was my problem, end up getting bogged down and thinking like, okay, well, I need to find the right sound first, or I'm just going to like start clicking through these sounds until I find something that really fits or clicks or something like that. And yeah, that's also a point, Litui. I think that's probably not an issue for. I would just, that would be my intuition, that's not like a main reason for a lot of people, but it is a significant reason to consider. And so I just never got anything done when I tried to work like that. I would start trying to make music at night and spend like an hour trying out different sounds and then just never produce anything. And one of the other things also with working that way is when you're working like that, you're always working in software that lets you record music, and it's very easy to get into the habit of thinking like, okay, I need to get like the perfect take of this part or whatever like that, because it's very easy to manipulate it and things like that on the computer. With things like auto-tune or something like that you've probably heard, where if you sing a note and it's off, well, you can just like move it in the thing, which is fine, but it gives you the opportunity to try to fix everything and make everything perfect, and that can be a problem. And so for me, it's much more productive when I'm trying to make music if I'm using this kind of setup where the sounds are, I mean, I have a lot of different keyboards in part so that I have different sounds, but it's more limited than like the soft synth things where you can literally have like any synthesizer, and you even have like reproductions of the synthesizers that I have here. So like you can't really see the synth here, but this one, this keyboard here, this is a Prophet, and this is like an old analog synthesizer that's still made with like analog parts and stuff like that. And you can get a recreation of this exact synthesizer that in actual music you probably can't tell any difference as far as like what it sounds like to this one. And this one costs a whole lot more money than just getting the soft synth version of it. So a lot of people, rightfully ask why should you do that? For me, it's about it's inspiring. Like this feels like an actual instrument to me. It inspires me to play. It invites me to play, and this is just the kind of setup that I've found that actually allows me to make music. And so that's my reason. And so you also asked, can I show you the different sounds of the keyboards? Yeah, I can do that. The thing that you have to know is that each of these keyboards can make a whole lot of different and very different sounds. So each one of them has like pre-programmed sounds on it that we call patches. And you can also make your own sounds and save them. And then you can just, basically click a button to have it bring up that sound. And so, I mean, for every keyboard that I have here, they all have a different character to them. Like this Osmos up here is a very like modern synthesizer, very modern sounding synthesizer, whereas the Prophet down here is a very like classic, more like 70s kind of synthesizer, typical synthesizer sound. But I can show you some patches for sure, just to give you an idea of like the kind of the different sounds or the different characters of them. So this one up here, the Osmos, is a special keyboard for multiple reasons. For one, because it is a special kind of controller. Unlike pretty much every other keyboard, you can control certain parameters of the sound by moving the keys back and forth, which means that I can make like vibrato on what I'm playing by, let me get a better patch for this so you can hear it better. Let's see here. So I can adjust certain parts of the sound by moving my finger once I'm playing this note to the right or to the left. That change in sound is just being done by wiggling my finger, basically. And so that gives you the opportunity of making like vibrato just by using your fingers. So I mean, that's just one sound on this keyboard, and there are a whole lot of pre-programmed sounds on the keyboard that sound very different. Here's like a horn kind of sound. All right, so I'll just go through some different patches on here so you can kind of hear the different sounds, or some of the different sounds. You also, you have sounds characterized, that are kind of categorized by the kind of sound that they are, like the function they have in the music. So you'll have certain sounds that you call pads that are usually used to play chords that are just carrying on through the music. And then you also have things that are called leads, where it's usually something that's playing a melody. This is more like a pluck. Let me see here. Where's the lead? Let's see here. Capshaw, are you still there? So that I'm just want to make sure that, because what I'm explaining here, the other guys in chat here, I think probably already know this. But I'm glad to talk about it. Here's some lead sounds. All right, wonderful. That's great. And if you have any questions, just let me know. I have absolutely no problem explaining all this stuff. It's fun. Right now, I'm just going through some of the patches on this keyboard. Bloody tears. I don't know if we're gonna get to that one tonight, Litui. And so a lot of these sounds are very complicated synthesizer sounds that are let me see if I can find one that demonstrates this well. Complicated in the sense that they develop a lot over the time that you're playing them. Like this one. So this has this kind of breathy kind of pad to it. So it almost sounds like you're playing a wind instrument. But then it also has this other part to it and you can also control this by how hard you press the keys. Thank you, Mr. X. You have a nice night, okay? And then there's also even this other part that this percussive element to it. That's supposed to be reminiscent of some kind of rain sound. And that's all synthesized. There's no recorded sound in that. It's all being generated by the synthesizer itself. And so that's what's considered a very complex synth sound, and that's also what makes this a modern style synthesizer, because on this analog gear, this Prophet down here, it can't make sounds that complex. It can make a whole lot of different sounds and very usable sounds and really nice sounding sounds, but it can't do all this stuff. That's what makes this a modern kind of synthesizer. And it should also be said, because I was talking about using computers earlier, basically modern synthesizers are for the most part digital synthesizers, which means that basically inside of the synthesizer, inside of this particular synthesizer, there's basically a computer running, and the computer inside the synthesizer is the Prophet does a lot, Litui, and mostly it's the polymod section. It can do a lot of really interesting sounds, especially for when it came out and stuff like that. But it's not doing stuff like this rain percussive thing. Okay, so that's this synthesizer, and I mean the amount of patches, it just keeps going on and on and on, and you can also make your own, So it's a little hard to say like what is the sound of this synthesizer, except to say that it has these kind of like typical characteristics of a modern synthesizer. It's also, here's another interesting difference, is that on this synthesizer you can play more than one note at a time, which sounds like obvious, but actually synthesizers like the first ones that came out were called monophonic, which means you can only play one note at a time. And so like this synth over here that you can, okay, you can see it. This is a synthesizer it's not exactly monophonic, but it's not like this one up here. Like this one up here I can play pretty much as many notes simultaneously as I want to. With this one over here, it's basically meant to be played like one note at a time, which by I mean, like if I press, let me see if I can find a patch that demonstrates this. Yeah, like this patch here. If I press two different keys on this keyboard at the same time, it doesn't make two notes. It will switch between the notes. And this is a monophonic keyboard. And monophonic keyboards are good for like bass parts a lot of times. Back in my day, we could only play half a note at a time, uphill both ways. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's how it was on the old analog synthesizers. You basically had to synthesize your own notes. So yeah, this is like a monophonic synth. That's mostly used for bass parts, but you can also, there are a whole lot of different patches on here too. I mean, this is sold as a bass synthesizer. It's called a bass station. And so the ideal like use case for it is supposed to be making bass lines, but you can just as easily use it for lead sounds. Like if you just take the same kind of sound that you had here and just move it up a couple octaves and then increase the sustain. You have more like a lead sound. And if you change the envelope as to how the sound develops, and you can get more like a plucky kind of sound out of it. And then you can also do something like you can turn on an arpeggiator on a lot of these synthesizers that like if you play a chord, it will just repeat it for you in different variations. And so one of the reasons why I have all these different keyboards is that I can use them with different sounds programmed at the same time to where I can use them at the same time, right? So like I could have this keyboard doing this arpeggiated bass part, and at the same time come up here to this keyboard and play something over the top of it, right, with a different sound. So something like that, and then I also have like the drum pads. We got like this drum pad that you can play in the sounds live on. And then I also have this drum machine over here where you can program a beat into it and have it play the beat back to you. That's this doing that right there. And there are a lot of different sounds on that one too. You can take the same exact sequence that it's doing and just change the sound. There are a lot of different like drum sounds and drum kits on there. Alright, so that's those guys. The one down here, and then down here, all the way at the bottom, I have a E-piano. So the E-piano, like the basic sound is trying to replicate a real piano. So that's what that sounds like. And it also has like weighted keys and stuff like that, like a real piano, but really it's also generating that sound with a computer, basically. But it also has some other sounds that are like typical kind of E-piano sounds. Like there's one really famous E-piano called a Rhodes. So that's that one, and then the Prophet is the one that I'm going to play now. Prophet is well known for like these kind of like you like if you start to hear typical Prophet sounds, you'll realize that it's all over recorded music, like especially from certain time periods. So hold on a second, let me put on a different sound. 255. Here's like a very typical Prophet patch sound. So the Prophet is an analog synthesizer, which means that it actually uses like analog parts inside, which means that it literally, and this was like a problem for a lot of analog synthesizers back in the day, more so than now, if the temperature would change in the room where you were using the synthesizer, the parts inside would actually be affected by it. Yeah. See, exactly. Old TV documentaries. Yeah, I mean, that's like, you know. But the Prophet can also do a lot of different sounds. I mean, don't let that fool you into thinking that it only does this kind of thing. This is like the typical Prophet sound, but it can also do like these kind of bell type sounds. This is kind of like imitating a kind of E piano with some sustain.
Yeah. It's they can do, like, synthesizers can do a lot of different sounds. They also are, used for sound effects and stuff like that. Sci-fi, like typical sci-fi movie sound effects and stuff like that. A lot of times, that's all synthesizers and stuff. Hey, thank you so much. That's very kind of you. Subscribe with Prime. All right, so that's what we're doing. Yeah, definitely Peter and the Wolf. For sure. I'm not figuring it out now. Okay, so that's what all the different synthesizers kind of do, and I mean, obviously I can't show you all the sounds because they're just, you can make your own sounds too. Like, you can't see the controls on here, but behind this keyboard, there's this part where you see the keys is only like the first third of the keyboard. It goes back like another 2/3, and all the controls are on there. There are knobs for all the different controls on here. So if let me get a different patch. So I have this sound, but then I can control different parts of it by moving the knobs back here that you can't see right now. And you can get really different sounds out of it depending on how you adjust it. It's actually not that badly tweaked. I did a fairly good job, also considering that this isn't like the final setup. It's actually not that bad. So this is all from the same patch that I started out with on the Prophet, and I'm just adjusting different knobs, and that's changing the sound.
So, yeah, no, I've already been sucked in a long time ago. That's why I have so many synthesizers. That's the black hole sucked me in. And now I just hit the button on the synthesizer. Because this is an analog synthesizer, and because the parts inside of it still change with temperature and stuff like that, this synthesizer actually has to be tuned like a guitar or some kind of instrument like that. So there's a button on the synthesizer that tells it to tune itself, and then it goes through, and for every voice and key on the keyboard, it has to like adjust certain parameters so that it's actually in tune. And it's still doing it. I pressed it 30 seconds ago. It's still in the process of tuning itself right now. And I didn't do that because it was out of tune. That's not why it sounded like that. I just accidentally pressed the button. Okay, so that's like the explanation of that. And then to complete the explanation of my particular setup, what's also really important is this looper that I just briefly showed you earlier. So I'll explain that too really quickly. So this down here is a Boss 505 looper, and basically it allows you to record little parts and it will play them back over and over again. So, and I have most of the instruments here going through this looper, so that means I can start recording on it, and I say something, and because the mic is going through here, on it, and I say something, and because the mic is going through here, so now it's recorded on there, and I can adjust the volume because the mic is going through here, on it. And I say something, and I can also put different effects on it, and I say something, and because the mic is going through here, and I say something, and because the mic is going through here, on it, and I say something, and I can reverse it, going through here, and so the only reason why I can make the music that I make typically on stream is because I'm using this looper so that I can like play in one part and have that part keep playing while I'm playing in the next part, and then I also like arrange the songs by recording different parts, and then I'll stop and start the different parts at different times so that it actually sounds like a song, kind of. And so that's a big part of the way that I make music. Not everybody does it like that, especially a lot of people who use hardware synthesizers also make more like, let's say, like electronic music mostly, like kind of like techno and things like that. I don't know enough about it to make sure that I'm using the right terminology there. And for people that are doing that, they usually don't use a looper like this. They'll use a lot more things like this little keyboard, and this lets me like program in a certain sequence of notes, and then that will tell another keyboard to play that sequence of notes over and over and over again. So there's a sequence I think still in here from the other day. Let's see. Yeah. So right now, this has a certain set of notes programmed into it, and it's sending those notes. It's telling the Prophet to play those notes. And it sounds so weird because we just messed with all the knobs. I can turn on a different sound, and that's the same sequence, just with a different sound on the Prophet now. And so a lot of people who make more like techno kind of stuff and things like that, they'll have like their beat machine going, more typically something like something like this. So you'll have like the beat machine making the beat, and then you'll have like something sequenced, maybe not usually like, so maybe something like that. And then you can also sequence the bass and all that kind of other stuff. And so that's not being recorded into a looper. It's all being played live, so to speak. It's just that I'm not playing it live, the controller keyboard is playing it. And so you can make a lot of adjustments like as things go then. So like when I record audio onto this looper, I can put effects on it and stuff like that, but the basic sound itself stays the same. Techno. Exactly, Elite Tweet. I'm pretty sure that's the defining characteristic of techno music. Techno. 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 so, and yeah, that was fun. Okay. But really, I wanted to do something entirely different. Whew. I'd stream all day if I could. I have to be careful, otherwise I just forget to stop streaming. My January streams, well, this is insane, but my January streams so far have been like on an average of like 4 or 5 hours. Like deep into the night. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it. Hayes had to cut his January. Hayes, I was on your YouTube channel. You have like 6,000 YouTube videos that you've made and uploaded. You're a prolific YouTuber. I had no idea. Amazing. You're getting up to all kinds of stuff on there. All right. It's kind of funny that we went in that direction now with that little jam, because actually what I was planning on playing today is like completely 100% different than what we just did. Let me see if I can even remember what it was now. Planning on doing really like slow, peaceful, almost like kind of cheesy thing. So we'll just see how that goes. The opposite of techno, I'll show you Litwi. This is the opposite of techno, I think. You managed to pull off the Twin Peaks chords. Yeah, cool, nice. Yeah. If you get flagged for copyright, then you did it right. That's exactly right. Actually, hold on a second. like that. Yeah, Twin Peaks is great. Yeah. Hold on, I'm into it now. Something like that. Fun stuff. It's great. That progression that goes up like that, man, that's so good. That's just so good. And then how is it? Let's finish it out, right? Yeah, it slipped into a Vangelis song. Yeah. All right. That's enough Twin Peaks for now. Actually, come to think of it, now that you mentioned that, Hayes, I think the thing that I was planning on playing tonight might actually also sound a little bit like Twin Peaks. Hold on, let me see if that's actually the case. Let me see if I can remember how it was. All right. The first chord is already pretty close, but it goes somewhere different. Yeah, that's good, Lee Tweed. That's perfect. If it sounds like that, then I'm on the right track. I think I'm going to keep it pretty simple. I don't even know if I'm going to do any other thing. I might just play this like once or twice. I could put like a little drone behind it or something maybe. Like I could bring in that drone at some point maybe or something. So that's like the one part. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. I like church music vibes. So that's the one part, and then I have this other part that I haven't decided yet exactly where it's going. Yeah. I think probably just like that. Perfect. I love all these references. If I'm on that track, then we're doing good. I just don't know. Should I sing something with it too, or should I just like let it be? Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Whispered words of wisdom. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Yeah, I'm also leaning towards I'm also leaning towards instrumental on this one. And I have to be careful that I don't make it too, I don't want to make it too complicated. I should keep it simple. I almost kind of like the overtly cheesy with the choiry kind of thing in the background for the melody. The other thing, actually, now, man, this is so funny. Like, there are just more and more things that it's reminding me of. The main melody also has this part in it that reminds me of. Let's see here. I don't know if you guys recognize that. I don't think I have the bass tones right. Dreams are my reality. But it's only a couple notes. It's okay. It's not that close to it, but. Alright, so what I'm thinking now is maybe I'll start with playing the melody on the Prophet, and then at some point, like as a second go through, I'll switch to yeah, I'm not actually concerned with it, Litwi. So we'll leave the drone away for the beginning. I think we'll bring in the drone for the second time around. Or just like keep it real low in the beginning, maybe. I have an expression pedal that I'm using to control the filter, and I'm still getting used to it. It's quite sensitive. having this expression pedal for the Prophet, it's like is a game changer. It's so much better. It's so much better. I just got it like last week, and it makes a huge difference, especially for like the way that I use it. You know, like the way that I make music here, where I'm trying to like play in everything live and stuff like that. I'm gonna get a whole lot more pedals for everything. What I was thinking the other day, what would be really helpful, is if I had a pedal that would literally only control the master effects on and off of the TR-8S, the drum machine, because it would help me. Like, I have a big problem trying to do like drops in songs, like especially like, you know, electronic music uses a lot of drops where there's like a build up and then, or like everything goes away, the filter filters everything out, and then everything comes back at the same time, whoop, 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 and that's really cool. But it's really hard to do on a setup like this because you have to like press 6 different buttons on different instruments at the same time, or you have to have some kind of controller that allows you to tie all that together, but I don't have anything like that. But what would be really helpful is if I just had like one switch just to turn off the master effects on the drum machine, because then I could use the filter to get like everything out, and then when I'm ready to drop the stuff on the looper, I just press the button on the thing to shut off the filter entirely and bring back the drums with full force. So I don't know if that's even possible with the TR-8S, but I'm gonna look into it because that seems like a good thing. So this is what I was planning on playing tonight. I just had this pop into my head before I started streaming, and I was playing it on piano a little bit. And so this is quite different than the techno jam we were doing earlier. I don't know if it's exactly the opposite, but maybe, I don't know. What do you guys think? Should we put this one in? Or is it too cheesy? Should I just stick to the Prophet? I mean, that's also a little cheesy. Or should we go really crazy and go up here to the Osmos? Which one are you talking about, Hayes? You talking about the techno remix? Yeah, I'm keeping it a little quiet today. But if I finish this jam, maybe I'll still do something else that's a little more upbeat. I try to vary it up on my January jams. I like to do different stuff. The Osmos one. All right, Hayes. You talking about me? I went to work. I got to bed. I mean, I think I only slept like 2 hours or something like that, but I went to bed and I went to work. I taught a class today. Yeah, work happens whether or not I'm, I don't have any control over that. How did that second part go? I forgot how the second part went. Something like, how did I go? Okay, how am I doing this? I feel like the Osmos patch is maybe still too loud in relation to the Prophet. Okay, if I just am more careful about how I play it, I think it's okay. All right, that's really good to know. Thank you. Thank you. Let me turn that down. Alright, so let's try to put down a recording. The problem with this one is like it lives from the expressivity of the filter, and it's really easy to accidentally blow out the filter on the Prophet because I'm just not used to this pedal, and it's also just takes a lot of feel. Now I don't hear this one at all. Why not? Maybe I just put too much drone in and that's why I don't hear it anymore. Thanks, Mitchell. I wonder if I can. Okay, that's how that works. let's try to put down a little recording of it. I think this one's going to be, yeah, we'll just see. It's just a little thing, right? So, all right, what about the arrangement? All right, so what if I play through it one time just on the Prophet first, like keeping it pretty quiet and pretty tamed, and then for the last part, then bring in like a little drone. And then come in with the second part with the Osmos. And then maybe go into the little B part. Start with that line just once or twice, and then go where from it. Go. I don't have any other. I don't have any other ideas. So what do I do if I only do that once or twice? And making it shorter is also an option, you know. So, started out with going through one time, and we'll keep it short then. I was repeating the first part, but we'll just move straight on to the second part. I think that's right. But the phrase isn't finished there, because it goes up with the one time. That's the resolution. I think. Yeah, I think we'll maybe just like keep it really short. I'm still not entirely convinced by this Osmos patch. Sometimes I like it and sometimes I don't. I think it depends on. I think it's eating up some of the same space as the drone. Maybe I should try it an octave down and see what that sounds like. That kind of really disappears then, huh? Oops. Look, I reloaded the patch and now it sounds like it actually did in the beginning. I think it sounds better than it did. How you guys feeling about the Osmos patch? how it sounds now. I mean, ignoring that, it's getting lost in there, huh? Let me see what I can do. Should I up it or should I go up an octave? Hey, Cranberry Toast. Thanks for hanging out. I will say Cranberry Toast has the benefit of me actually being able to probably pronounce it somewhat correctly as opposed to Capcho, which I still don't feel confident about. Volume up. All right. Thank you guys for the help. And should we start out with the in honor of the number 4? Maybe we'll just call it the number 4. Should I start out with the drone on, or should we we should bring in the drone after the first part? I think I like bringing it in, vamping on those chords a little bit and bringing it in. All right, and then we'll bring in. All right, let's try to give it a run through. I'm gonna mute the mic while I do this so that I don't record my feet scratching around on the ground and stuff. All right, we have all the tracks recording on the mixer. We're gonna start a recording here in OBS as well. You know what? Before we start recording, I want to find a different background video real quick. We'll just take a second. Something that's a little more fitting, maybe. I think I have something. Just gotta find it. Who wants to listen to something completely different while I look for this video? I'll turn on the I'll turn on the video of yesterday's jam for you guys. And I can take a quick break and look for this video, and then you'll get also a different idea about the kind of music that I sometimes make on the stream, because this is not like what I made yesterday. It was quite a different thing. All right, let's do that. We're just going to pop that up for you guys here in a minute, and then I'll see you guys in a couple of minutes. How about that? How about that? All right, there's that, and then we have to enable that, and do this, and that. OBS is pretty cool software. Let's see here, where is that video? Okay, it's that one. All right. I'll be back in a minute or two.
perception. Rise up and shine. Let's move forward and stop living in trivial times. If you turn off the lights, then it gets dark. Just surviving through the perils, playing normal lives. Open doors of perception. Rise up and shine. Turn around and see what's behind. But step through before the fear latches on. Get to it now, because time is fleeting. And mistakes are there to be unmade. Let's move forward and stop living in trivial times. If you turn off the lights, then it gets dark. Just surviving through the perils of plain normal lives. Open doors of perception. Rise up and shine.
Okay, we're back. Oh, I found the video, but it's not in the right spot. Alright, let's fix that real quick. Okay. Almost there. Almost there. Okay, okay, okay. So let's give this a try, shall we? All right, turning off the mic, and then we're going to try to do a recording.
Hey, Cranberry, thank you so much for coming by and hanging out. See you again soon, I hope. Take care. I'm trying to figure out how to end it. So the idea is we start with it quiet without the drone. We do. I'm gonna do it twice in the beginning. Then we'll do the little other part. And we'll bring in the drone. All right. So, I'm definitely. I want to end it with just the Prophet. I think that's the big sound is the best with just the Prophet. Still trying to figure out where to put it in this B part. I definitely want to put it in there. All right, so let me think. We're doing so no drone. 2 times, then we're doing the. so the question is, where do we put that B part and where do we put the osmos part? Alright, I have an idea. Alright, we're gonna try to do a playthrough now. Muting the mic, trying to do a recording. We'll see. This is gonna be a frustrating one, I can be sure, because my chops just aren't good enough to play this whole thing without making a lot of mistakes. So there's the pile of mistakes from the title that's happening now. Callback. Boo boo boo. Hey, Illuminated, nice to see you. I don't think I greeted you earlier. Hello, thank you for being here. Man, I had it going pretty good up until close to the end there. That's unfortunate. Messed it up in the last part. Otherwise, I would have been happy with that as a performance. I mean, obviously, for people who could actually play keyboard well, there's a lot in there to be fixed. But for my playing, that was a good take up until the end. All right, let's give it another try. All right, a couple mistakes in there, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it much better than that. I'll do another take or two just to see, but I feel like that one was good enough for sure, for me at least. But I'll give it another shot. It's feeling better with every take a little bit to play it, so. Let's give it another go. I feel like that take was a bit worse than the last one. Maybe. A couple more mistakes, but we're going to do one more. At least one more. It's feeling all right. I feel like maybe I still have a better take in me, though. Buckle up for the ride of me playing the same thing 30 times in a row. Hopefully not 30. All right, that was the take. That was it right there. Not doing anymore. Wrap it up. That's a wrap. Nice one, Hayes. Look at that. That's a lot of guitars. I've never seen so many guitars in one place. You over guitared my my chat widget. Can't even fit all those guitars in there. Thanks so much. Thanks for hanging out and listening. You flew too close to the sun. That's true. There's got to be some there's a good band name in there somewhere like Icarus and the Guitar or something like that. I don't know, there's something there. Thanks, Hayes. I appreciate it. Do you post your January jams in the Discord? Have you been posting yours in there? Because if so, then I've somehow, I think, been overlooking them, maybe. Because catching Icarus is wax. Hey. Anyway, long story short, I need to look up your January jams because I don't think I've listened to any of them so far. You don't post them in the Discord. That's probably why. So I usually just listen to the playlist that Beta Units puts together from the ones that are posted on the Discord. I mean, if you're interested at all, just throw your YouTube link in that channel on the Discord, and Beta will add it to the playlist. But yeah, I'll check them out on your YouTube. There's a lot of stuff to check out on your YouTube, man. Ah, cool, Subharmonicon. That's cool. I eventually, my setup as far as synthesizers go is pretty much complete. I mean, the Prophet 10, I thought I was complete with that. And then I played the Osmos, and I was like, all right, well, that does some things that my setup can't do so far, and I like it as something that kind of fills it in. And I like the bass station for the bass tones, but eventually, at some point in my synthesizer career, I'd like to replace the bass station with probably a Sub 37 or a Sub Fatty. I don't know. I still, even though I've read a bunch of things about it and watched videos, I still don't completely understand the difference between the Sub 37 and the Sub Fatty. But I really like. I played a Sub 37 at the music store for a while, and I really liked the way it felt and sounded. So that's going to be probably my next move as far as that goes. But I think I'll be sticking with this for a while, because the bass station is also there's definitely no problem with it. I like it a lot. Isn't that beautiful drone? I'm definitely checking that out. I want to see that. What's your musical background like? I always say I come from a rock background, and I just somehow made my way into synths and stuff like that, kind of via Radiohead and just I've always thought synthesizers were cool, but that's not where I come from musically. But I think I saw videos on your channel where you're also drumming. Do you drum and stuff like that? started on sax, 3 years of marching band, nice. Then I switched to drums, played for a lot of rock bands. Yeah. So my first my first instrument was drums actually as well. But unfortunately, I wish it were otherwise. Really, I'm self-taught on the drums, so I had a drum teacher for I think like all of 2 weeks. It was like just a friend of the family, and basically he just came over and played my kit because he didn't have anywhere to play his own kit, and I just like watched him. It was kind of pointless. And so I never had formal drum training, and I mean it shows when I play the drum pad that I have I think a decent sense of rhythm, but I just don't, I haven't practiced the chops. And but yeah, I mean drums were my first instrument, and I played drums in a number of bands and stuff like that, and then moved on to other things, bass and now guitar and all this other stuff. But cool. Yeah, marching band, I mean I feel like marching band is a good way to like get introduced into music as far as like getting chops and stuff like that. Oh, thanks. I mean my beats, like I would say probably 80% of the beats that I play on this channel are on these things are just like some kind of vaguely Afrobeat inspired thing. Always start with a double time snare. And then just put in some polyrhythmic stuff, like just add in some polyrhythmic accents or whatever, and that's like all my beats are pretty much. Left-handed drummer. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I feel like, so I mean, like, as far as, like, any of my playing, I don't got the chops, like, I just don't, like, on any of the instruments that I play, I'm not a technical player at all. But I feel like where my strengths are musically are being able to, like, I have a good ear and decent ideas, and I feel like I can use my limited technical abilities to a good degree to like make what I have, like make what's in my head come to life, even though I don't have the chops really. I would like to have better chops. Yeah, they can be, but I mean, not having technical skills can also be a gatekeeper. Like there are definitely things that I would like to play and I just can't, I could if I practiced it, but part of my problem now with practicing is like I'm spread a little too thin now. I have too many different instruments and too many different things here, and like I would have to concentrate on one of them. For a while I was taking piano lessons, but that was hard to integrate with the rest of my life, which sounds weird given that I'm doing like 5-hour streams now every night, but that's just in this January, and then I'll probably go back to not doing that anymore. And so now, do you still play with any bands, or do you just Yeah, so last year I feel like, what did I do? Did I take a break? I feel like I kind of used the momentum, at least in the beginning, to keep going, which was actually good. So do you still play? No bands, okay. So you just do like solo stuff, messing around with the synths and stuff like that. Do you also like do releases and stuff like that? I would imagine, given the amount of YouTube content that you've created, that you probably also have a couple EPs and albums out there. Nice. You can check those out. Very cool. Last year I released my first EP, like my first music that I've ever released as like a solo artist, which was just taken from January jams from the year before that, and basically just like mastered from the stereo pairs right out of the stream. And that was a fun experience. I think the next time I release music, I'll probably do it in a different way. But it was a good experience to do. Took part in a challenge event on YouTube where we released our tracks for submission on Bandcamp and learned how to master. Yeah, cool. I mean, so honestly, I've looked into that kind of stuff as well, but like what I said earlier about being spread a little too thin also definitely applies to this stuff. Like I'm learning all this stuff, like recording stuff. I mean, I have some experience just from being in bands over the years, but like actually trying to record something with a decent sound quality and stuff like that is pretty all new to me. And so I'm learning as I go here. And like the mastering stuff, that's something that I think I messed with Isotope for a little while, but I was a little overwhelmed with it. So right now, with these January jams, I'm just using like an AI mastering thing, and it does help. Like I feel like it does make it sound better. But I mean, obviously, eventually, the idea would be to actually learn, get some skills. Zoni. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out. Man, what is going on with the mic? I feel like, I don't know what's going on with the mic. I feel like something's weird with my sound tonight. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to VOD and see if it's actually on there, if I'm just hallucinating things. But Don Dark Zoni, thank you so much for coming and hanging out. Hope to see you again soon. Just felt like being a bit noisy there at the end. Okay. I'm finished for tonight. Thank you all for coming, hanging out. Hayes and Illuminated, appreciate it. And Don, you were here until a little ago. Thanks for hanging out. And of course, Capshaw, who is now known as Cranberry Toasted, Cranberry Toast TV. Mitchell Leonard, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out. It's awesome. Lee Twee was here earlier. That was awesome to see Lee Twee. It's been a while. Yeah. So we'll be back again tomorrow with another. Tomorrow I have a very limited schedule as far as streaming goes, I think. So we'll have to see how that works out. I have to do a quick one. Let's go see who we can raid.
January